What is up, guys? Welcome to Real Beats. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a trick you can use to make great melodies every time. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post notifications, you do so. Good, does help it a lot. So let's hop right into it. So I'm going to be showing you a trick that could help you bypass a lot of frustration years to come if you follow the rules. So with this, we got Capsule here and just a few drums I just laid out because I want to focus on this trick mainly. So I'm gonna grab in a scale. We can go ahead and get started, and I'll just explain everything. So I'm just defaulting my F sharp minor. Let's just go ahead and we can start with the chords. Okay, so let's start with our chords. Now, everything from this point on is the trick. So I'm gonna be giving tips and everything throughout. Now, I will try to edit it so it's easier to follow. But here's the sound I'm using. Okay, so for our chords, this is important. You need a chord progression. Well, I recommend one. I'm not gonna say you need one, but I recommend it because it'll be easier for you to make a melody with a full chord progression rather than just like a chord progression like this. And I'll explain why later, but you know, so that's the first one. Okay, so I'm gonna just make a chord progression. I'm gonna kind of fast forward it a little bit, but we can just start on our root, simple as that. Let's pull that up. All right, so here's my chord progression. I'll probably fast forward that a little bit, but here's my chord progression. Okay, so now let's move on to, the next tip for our chords. All right, so now that we have our chord progression, what we need to do is figure out our range. Now I'm gonna chop this up because I want people to be able to click on this video and go through the chapters in steps rather than have to watch literally all through, right? So with this part, what we need to do is take the original chord and copy it to whatever VST we want to use for our melody. So how do you figure out what notes to use? Now, if you're advanced, you can use all of these. Right now, by the end of this video, you should be able to understand how you can use all of these notes. But really what we want to do is take the original chord, the original triad. Okay, so that's just the first three notes we use. So that would be this, 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 and this, if it'll highlight, right? And we're just going to copy this. Okay, and then just move it down here. Okay, and then you can hold Shift D to make them smaller. All right, so that is the second step. So let's move on to the third. All right, so it's time for us to make a melody, and this is usually where it gets fun. I just want to talk about the range real quick. So your range is basically from your first note of your chord to the last note. So it would be something like this and every note in between. All right, and that applies to every single chord here. So if we had, let's pull this back up, we had open chords or inversions, it still applies, right? So if we have something like this, everything we're gonna do next still applies, and I'll probably show a part like that. But the only issue with this is your margin for error is larger, so you got to be careful. But you know, once you get the hang of this part, what we'll do next, you can go ahead and just try this stuff, right? So let's pull these back. All right, so what do we want to do here? So basically, to make this sound good, usually you want to end on your top note. You don't have to every time, but this is just like to make it super bare bones. And then you just want to kind of lead up into that note. So we could do something like this. Okay, now if we pull these back, and I'm gonna just keep these, you could use your in-between note, right? Or yeah, we could just do something like this, right? And then you want to just kind of, it'll automatically just sound good, right? Because it's always landing back on this little original chord. So we could do something like this for like a little rhythm. Right, and then one thing you want to keep in mind is like your rhythm, like your melody rhythm in general is you don't want to just keep changing it up. So we want to kind of keep this going. I think actually this will fit, and we could just move this down. All right, so this works as a melody, right? It's not going all over the place, right? We can kind of remember it, everything like that. So what I want to do next is just kind of make a bunch of these just so you can kind of see the possibilities. Because if I leave it here, what people are gonna do is they're just gonna think that this is all they can do. I want them to see that you can, if you want to, you could do something like, right? And then if you want to pull this down and then add that B in there, you can do stuff like this. Right, so that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna go ahead and reset this, and then we can just get started just making a bunch of these. Now quickly, I just want to insert this in the video, and basically after you get that basic part down, you can start to use more advanced stuff, right? And with this method, this is how you can write longer melodies. So I'm just pretending that these are different chords by just moving it. All right, so if you want to make longer chord progressions, all right, let's just act like it's something new. Right, with it, and you know, most people will be like, oh, it's kind of difficult to do that, right? And they stick to like the 4-bar, 8-bar progressions, right? But with this, now you can make even longer melodies, right? That actually have, like, I guess, storytelling in them, right? So if you want to score for, like, I don't know, like some commercial stuff or TV stuff, this is something that can help you, right? And then you just use the tricks I showed you, Shift D. Right, and obviously you need to pay attention to how the instrument is played that you're using, right? Obviously not every instrument is going to be played this way, but you just kind of let the chords guide you a bit, and you can kind of switch the notes up and so on, right? And now you should be able to write longer melodies as well. All right, so that is how you can kind of progress from this basic little method. All right. All right, so I went ahead and just added the 808 and kick just to save time, because it's not really important for this video, so I'll just play it. So we kind of hear the melody in a beat form rather than just a flat out melody. So with this, I just put this chord back to the original, right? It was like this originally, so I just put it back. So let's go ahead and we can just make a few melodies with this. So we can just take this mid note, like a quick little trick, usually just take the mid note and you'll be fine. Take that mid note, and then we take this mid note, just a little smaller. I'll just highlight the originals. All right, we can pull these back. So now let's do like a little inversion, I guess. Kind of just pull these up, right? So from here, same thing. We can just kind of play around with these notes. I guess we could just copy this rhythm. And then copy this since it's the same note. And then let's go down. All right, and you can just combine as much as you need, okay? So one more, I'll just do one more. But we can just put a lot of notes in here. Okay. I might fast forward through this one a little bit if the time is taking too long, but I'm just go ahead and do whatever. So actually, let's use that range originally, so we have more notes to work with. All right, so we can just kind of move these over. Okay, so that is it. I don't know if I fast forward this. I'm gonna play it one more time. Right, and if you look, we're still using the same range from our original chords, right? And I'll just play it with the drums, I guess, for reference. All right, that's pretty much it. Now, keep in mind, I'm making a tutorial, right? I'm not really thinking too much while I'm making these. I'm just trying to get something down quick. So when you make yours, you can make it sound a lot better. You can add more sounds. You can start to really think about your melody. But here, just keep in mind, this is a tutorial. I'm not really thinking too much about this, right? You should be able to make something way better. But that's it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. I hope that was straightforward enough. to explain what I was trying to explain. But that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful. Make sure y'all like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.